Today we have presentations by the Finance Committee, Communication and Conference, I believe. Sorry, Archives. Archives, Finance, Communication and Conference. Is that right, guys? Okay. So let's get started with Archives.
Can I go first, please? Carl, I had requested that to Carla because I can't stay for the
Oh,
whole meeting. Is that okay?
yeah. So Conference Committee, go first.
Hi, my name's Mindy. I'm the outgoing chair, current chair of the conference committee. I've been on the conference committee for about, I don't know, 10, 12 years since before COVID. And 2 years, 3 years as chair, I'm not really sure, but it's time for me to step down. I keep advertising my replacement and to build up the committee a little. A couple of people stepped down. We have a very small committee, and it's kind of self-run now. We're not taking on anything new because we can't. And the purpose of it is to put the World Service Conference together on Zoom. We've decided to always do Zoom unless otherwise we are requested. And it's October 26th, 27th. I can't remember. It's that Sunday in October 2025, same time. And we don't have many proposals this year, so I assume it will be a smaller meeting. Any month now, we're going to open up registration. Most registration happens over the summer, and I'm not sure if the groups. One of the things we do is we make sure you are who you say you are when you register. So if Stacy says I'm Stacy L and I'm the ISR for Northwest or whatever, then we have to check that. I used a bad example, but we make sure everyone is the correct GSR and the correct ISR. Obviously, the board is the board, so you would have to make sure all your information is updated on the group form. And basically now we just register everyone for the conference, and I think the board holds training meetings if you how to how to be in a conference and your expectations, how to carry it to the group, etc. And that will happen through Grania or the board or so forth. So that's all I got. We're up to registration that I do with Linda, and we put it on a spreadsheet, and that's it for the conference committee. Any questions? Anybody want to join? Take over?
Thank you, Mindy. Any questions for Mindy? You did a great job. Doesn't look like we have questions.
Right.
All right. Moving on. Let's see. Jen, archives or finance? Who goes next?
Archives.
Archives. Thank you, Steve. You want to present?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to screen share my presentation. And my name is Steve. I'm a compulsive overeater. And I'm going to invite my co-committee members to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Dottie, archivist for documents.
Hi, I'm Joey. I'm a member of the Archives Committee.
My name is Anya. I am a member of the committee, but liaison from the board of directors or trustees.
Thank you. So basically, what I did was I just took our goal and our mission and our tasks. The purpose of the Archive Committee is to, we preserve historically and electronically and physically valuable documents, digital materials, printed materials, and other items of GreySheeters Anónimos World Service Incorporated. Our task is We contact members of the fellowship who may have memorabilia or archive documents that they wish to loan or donate to the GreySheeters Anonymous World Service organization for the purpose of creating a complete GSA archive. We have an oral history project that gathers recorded interviews of longtime members about the origins of the GreySheet food plan, the development of GreySheeters Anonymous program, and the in-depth accounts of personal experiences in giving service to GreySheeters Anonymous. A lot of those people are still with us, and we want to get them while they can share their stories. We can gather stories are great from the horse's mouth. We also gather detailed information for perpetuity in order to satisfy intellectual curiosity of present and future membership. We're not just hoarding these materials. We want to make them available so that people can research them so that they know how we got here, and we don't lose the actual integrity of our fellowship. Our mission is to make GSA archival materials accessible to the present and future members of the fellowship for historical research, educational presentations, and we also want to foster knowledge and appreciation of the rich cultural heritage and traditions and legacy of GSA. One of the ways that we do this is that we have a physical storage facility in Garden City, Long Island, but we also we have materials in our homes. I have things in my house that I'm digitizing, and Dottie is scanning documents. But we also have a Google Drive where we have all our information stored electronically. Some of the historical documents that we use are the original copies of the GreySheet, which is our primary document, but we also have actual correspondence. For instance, the one coming from April 19th, 1998 in Shades of Grey that actually documents the date of our incorporation as a 12-step fellowship, which is April 7th, 1998. So basically, we're preserving document-based documents so that, people can really go to a source and look at something and back up and have some sort of validation of our information. We also have artifacts such as physical memorabilia like the Sally Ann quilt, which we acquired, and also the commemorative coin from the first GreySheeters Anonymous conference. As I said earlier, we have CDs, audio tapes from the New York City Roundup, the poster. We actually have our original corporate seal and other tchotchkes or items that we may produce when we have events like from the New York City Roundup or any other retreat or events that we throw. As a photographer, also historical images of locations where our fellowship started before we were GreySheeters Anonymous, when we were just the GreySheet community, part of OA. These are images of some of the places where meetings were held in the Boston, Massachusetts, Cambridge area, and also from New York City. One of the things that I love as a educator and just sort of like an amateur archaeologist is like I like to look at images and places of people, places, and things where not just the written word, but also the images are also very valuable. But also we document our events. I taken photographic and video evidence from our roundups, our retreats, and we also get donations from other communities. When they have an event, they bring things to us so that we can store them. So after the event is over, we have something left over that we can refer to. Also, what can be done with the technology that we have and also the materials that we gather is we have audio CDs. We have, like I said, memorabilia from the New York City Roundup, the CDs. What I'm doing is I'm downloading them so that we can put them on our Google hard drive. But what I did with the information, it doesn't just sit there, is that I created a timeline, and others can do the same once they get, Grania made an absolutely fantastic YouTube video with information, and the presentation, I think, makes the information a lot more engaging and palatable, for people who may not have the patience or just the know-how of where to find out the information. We can present it to them. One of the things that I was thinking of is that we can collaborate with the literature committee to use our archival material to create a handbook, or these are some examples from AA, which I'm a member, and I'm on the archive committee in AA, and I work down at the central office. Is that, you know, you could take the information and you can put it together and publish it so that people can have it. One of the things that I share for our vision for the future is possibly having a website which makes all our information available that we would be responsible for. At some point, we are hoping that we may even have a brick and mortar intergroup service office that would house the archive, where people can come in like a visitor center and look at some of the images and materials. And that instead of paying for storage for somebody else to do it, that we would have our own storage facility. But the central office, just like I visited the World Service Office in AA, which is in Manhattan, I'm thinking that if we get an office, we can have committee meetings there and also use it as a meeting space. And this is something that is like maybe 5 or 10 years down the road. If anybody in our fellowship is a lawyer or a realtor, or maybe somebody who has it, can donate a property or an office or some little, you know, corner somewhere where we can actually have a physical office. Overeaters Anonymous has, I think it's in Arizona, or I forget exactly where it is. They have an office. And like I said, New York City has the AA World Service Office and the New York City Metro Intergroup office. So maybe one day we'll have that. But this is just a photograph of the Intergroup Chicago's area service office that I volunteer in. And this is what the archive committee has put together. So when you go visit their central office, all that material is on display, and members or anybody interested in the fellowship can come and visit and look at the material. So basically, we're asking anybody who is interested in history. We desperately need a secretary, someone to take minutes. Right now, we're just recording our meeting. We lost a few members. So, and in a year, I have another year to serve, and I want to get somebody who would be interested in chairing the committee so I could start mentoring and grooming them, so that when I rotate out at the end of next year, you know, we'll have somebody in place. I still plan to be a member of the committee, but I do believe in rotation, and I'm aging by the minute. So I would like a younger, more energetic or dynamic person who really has a passion for history. I finally was able to work out the archive at GreySheet.org email. So you can contact me there, or you can use my personal email address. So basically that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Do we have any questions for Steve?
Thanks, Linda. Thank you, Steve. I love that slideshow, and I love the dream of a building somewhere where we can all gather. Are you, as a committee, planning to propose make a proposal to the conference about policies regarding record keeping, photographing, recording, things like that?
Right now, we don't have any proposals on the table. It may be something that we will talk about more. I know the deadline for submitting proposals is approaching. Anya's the one that's been liaison with you on that issue, okay? And if she wants to speak to it more, I invite her to do that.
I mean, I think from a perspective, we started discussion that we need to put together what to archive, when and how, right? To be able to, and also from a perspective of what needs to be open for public internally. But from that perspective, I think we are in early discussions. So I don't think we will be able to
thank you.
propose.
I'm sorry. I was also thinking, and I could use some input and clarification on this. I never thought it was part of our mission or goal to set policy. So I was wondering if it falls under the heading of structure, because I was reading the material that I was given. So one of the questions that I ask is that I feel that we should comply with whatever in place, but if nothing is in place, how can we collaborate with other committees to maybe put it together?
Grania, did you want to respond to his question?
Yeah, I want to answer that question. So one of the roles of all the committees is to write down what they think, how they think their area of the organization should function. So for example, the conference committee wrote down, this is how we organize a conference. In December, we recommend to the board whether it's going to be virtual or in person. In January, we recommend to the board the budget. Then we can contract with the transcriptionist. Then we start, registration is from here to here. So it is all of our jobs to write down how we think the job that we do needs to be done, and then put it through the decision-making process to make sure everybody gets a chance to agree or disagree and approve it in the conference. So yes, it would be great if the archive committee could write down exactly what Anya just said. What do we archive? Where do we archive it? How long do we archive it for? When can people see it? Who can see it? How do they see it? All that stuff.
Thank you. With that clarification, it sounds like a lot of grunt work, and as our committee grows, we'll have more people who can take on the task of doing that. So definitely we're not ready for something that ambitious this year, but hopefully by next year. Thank you.
Okay, Carolyn.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Carolyn, new chair of the new website committee. Steve, that was a great presentation. Thank you. I'm curious how much of the archival material we want to have on the website. Is that something you've talked about? I know there is, history of GreySheet information on the website, but you have all this other, interesting ephemera, but it looks like you have it all digitized, and I'm just interested what you think about that.
My feeling is that everything should be available to everybody with certain guidelines and parameters on how to access it, just like AA does. If you go to AA, you can go through a walkthrough of their founding, stepping stones. So again, this is a collaborative project that I would work with the website committee. The GreySheet.org committee would have a link to the archive committee website, which I think should be a separate website, given the amount of material and specialized interest that archival, not everybody's interested in, most people don't want to look beyond their next meal, but for those people who would be interested in looking at the material, my thought was that there would be a link and take them in, they would fill out a request to access certain information. Certain information would be available to the public, but then again, other information would only be available on a case-by-case basis, just like we do with the phone list. We don't just give that out to everybody. So again, there are guidelines that need to be established once the idea of the accessibility website would be agreed upon. And again, that's a future proposal.
Thank you, Steve. Any other questions for archives? Okay. Communication committee. Carla. No,
I got it.
Joey.
Yep.
Joey.
Hey everyone, Joe here. Thank you, Linda, for leading us. Appreciate that. So let me just start sharing. Give me 1 second. Okay, so my name is Joey. I am a compulsive eater and your chair for the communications committee. I specifically made this presentation to see that our committee is a fun committee. Okay, so welcome to the communications committee. And the purpose of the communications committee is to facilitate communication and promote collaboration among the compulsive eater who still suffers the GreySheeters Anonymous membership, the World Service Conference committees, and the caucuses, and the General Service Board. Who are the members? We meet every third Saturday, every other month. That means you only need to see us every 6 times in a year. And if you are a volunteer, you just have to report to us. Once in a while, you could join us. So if you're looking to join a fun committee like us, please join us. I'll give the information in a little bit while. I am the chair. My name is Joey M. My wonderful board liaison is Carla. Our members are Juliet, Linda M., who is our wonderful leader today. We have another board member who's Micah, who wanted to join us, so she'll be coming in next month. We also have a volunteer, Annette and Ronnie, and we do have a member, George. We have Julie, I believe her last name is L, who does the area contact list and the GSA contact list. And we also have Kathy F, who is our startup sponsor. Okay. Let's talk about the communities connecting. We just had a wonderful communities connecting last month. It facilitates awareness of the ongoing work of the World Service Conference committees. And these are the schedules that we had. We just had it January 12th, which is the debriefing of the last World Service Conference. We had today, which is March 9, which we had the archive, finance, communications, and conference. And on June 8, we will have literature, the public information, and the structure. And on September, we will have the nominating. We would introduce the Board of Trustees candidates, the Board of Trustees, World Service Conference agenda, rules and orders, and previous resolutions. And we also have the website. Welcome to our new website, Committee Chair. So glad to have that filled up. More power to the website. And lastly, on December 14, we would have the World Service Conference 2025 debriefing. Okay, moving along. We also have the tradition and concepts roundup. It's also it's a 3 month, starting on February, which was last month. The next one is May, and the next one is August. What we do, we have 4 speakers who will share their personal stories of applying the concepts and traditions in their work as a delegate or other service positions. So every month, let's say last month, we did tradition 1, 2, 3, and 4, together with concept 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll do the succeeding 4 traditions and 4 concepts in May, and the last 4 remaining traditions and concepts in August. Get it down, that's 1 p.m. to 30, or you could always go to the website to see further information about that, that tradition concepts roundup. Next one on our list is the GreySheet phone list. What does the GreySheet phone list? Ensures that members listed are still abstinent and responding to calls. There are 2 phone lists, the GreySheet phone list and the area contact list. So as I said, the GreySheet phone list ensures that members listed are still abstinent and responding to calls, and the area contact list ensures that all listed contact lists responds to emails within 48 hours. And we have a volunteer, she's doing an amazing job, Julie L. Okay, the next one we have is a startup sponsored subcommittee. This is geared by our wonderful Kathy F, who is our subcommittee chair. And what do? They help newcomers to be introduced to GreySheet abstinence and get lists of possible permanent sponsors. These are for new members who are coming in who wanted to become abstinent. And there's a training session. There's, if you want to be a member of the startup committee, I think there's parameters. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's either 1 or 2 years of abstinence to be a member of the startup committee. You could call, or you could email me at communications@greysheet.org if you're interested. Okay, and the last one we had is GreySheeters Anonymous internal Facebook group. The GreySheeters Anonymous sponsored by the GreySheeters Anonymous World Service. Currently, we have members of 354, and administrative members is myself, together with Ofer, Lee, Grania, and Mindy. And what do? We do whatever we had in GreySheet meetings, any GreySheet related announcements, we post it in this website. We post it in this internal Facebook group. You would not be able to see this in any other way unless you are like or someone member, the administrators would send you a link. It's an internal Facebook. It's a hidden Facebook account solely for the GreySheeters Anonymous. So if you're not a member yet, please send me an email or give me a call, and I'll make sure that we send you a link to join the internal Facebook group. And if you have a meeting, if you have any GreySheet related announcement that you would do for your meetings, for your intergroups, or or anything that you would like to do as long as it's a GreySheet related announcement, let us know. You could actually post it, and the current requirements that we had, that it needs to be approved by any one of those 4 administrators. So it's a fun group. Please join us. If you want to be a volunteer, you don't need to join us every other month. You could join us if you're GSR. You know, if you have the expertise to do whatever we feel that is fun and we love doing it with us, please join us at communications@greysheet.org. And I'm figuring out how to stop this. There you go.
Thank you, Joey. Do we still do the podcast, Joey?
Yes, you're right. I apologize. We do have the podcast. Carla, would you like to talk more about the podcast?
Sure. The podcast has several episodes that you can access from the website. And currently we are on a pause. We had the good fortune of having someone who had professional experience in editing, etc., and publishing podcasts. We don't have that anymore. So if you know of anyone who has that expertise, please send them our way. We'd be so thrilled to be back in action. But we have future podcast episodes that will roll out just as soon as we can get them to. Thank you.
Any questions for Joey?
Linda, if I may ask, if I may add, one of the things that we've done before, even before I came into this wonderful committee, is the service matters. You know, unfortunately, we don't have the expertise. It's beyond our pay grade. Me and Carla tried it so hard. It's beyond our pay grade. If you have any knowledge that you would like to share with us, with service matters, it needs like a big service structure that I have, and I'm a geek, and I can figure it out. Please join us, and we would love to revitalize again the service matters, because I think it was a very big part of our community for a long time. Okay, I think Steve has a question. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes,
Steve.
Joey, that was an awesome presentation. You really raised the bar. You know, I wanted to know if the speakers for the Traditions and Concepts meeting were recorded, and if so, are they accessible, available, especially for us in the archive?
I believe it's being recorded because we are presenting it. I'm pretty, Grania, you could correct me, but we had it with the Spanish community as an audio recording, but not the video. Is that right?
Yeah, so the policy that the Archives Committee and the board proposed to the conference and was adopted several years ago around recordings was that we do not record for general consumption any GreySheet, any World Service event or meeting, unless we've told the group what we're going to do with the recording and that no one has objected. So we don't, as a routine, record and archive Traditions and Concepts, town halls, or anything like that. We record them, we make sure the minutes are complete, and then we delete the recording. Recently, the Spanish-speaking community has asked us to allow them to dub them into Spanish, not dub, subtitle, and then they publish them on their YouTube channel. And so you heard Linda at the beginning of this meeting say, does anybody object to this meeting being recorded and published on the Spanish-speaking YouTube channel? But that's the only permission that we have for the recording of these meetings. So if you wanted them to be archived as a matter of routine, then we would need to propose an amendment to the resolution that we do not store audio recordings of our meetings as a matter of routine. So right now, no, we don't make these available to archives because that's not what we agreed.
So, as the committee, would we make a proposal? Because my concern is that we're losing this historic information, not just for general public, but for our own organization, our own archive. So maybe I need to have further discussion on maybe how we can change that.
Yep. So the process is the same as it would be if you were making a new proposal. You would write up your amendment. Here's the existing resolution. This is what we propose changing. This is why. And then you would submit it to the decision-making process. The first step is that it goes to all the chairs and ISRs, who take it to all the groups and intergroups and committees. And we have 3 months where it's circulated as much as possible for as much input as possible. Then the chairs and ISRs vote on it. And if the chairs and ISRs adopt it, then it goes to the board. And if the board adopts it, then it goes to the conference. So first step is to write it up, make sure you vote on it as a committee, and then send it to me to put on the agenda for the chairs and ISRs.
Thank you.
All right, Finance Committee next.
Hey, I'm Jen. I do what y'all do, no matter what. Hi, I'm the BOT measure member that's the finance liaison, former chair. We're in a bit of a transition right now, but the purpose of the Finance Committee is responsible for reviewing and providing guidance on GSA's financial matters. Specifically, the committee ensures internal controls, independent audit that we do, and financial analysis. The idea is that we're giving oversight to the individual and recurring donations, paying our expenses for the budgets. Well, obviously suggesting a budget and that we're receiving from the committee members, and then setting the budget and giving updates to the Board of Trustees as needed throughout the year. Reviewing the financial statements, all that. Right now, again, like I said, we're kind of in transition here. So the treasurer recently is no longer the treasurer. So Joyce has graciously offered to stay on as bookkeeper. So she is keeping track of our monies and sending reports as she regularly does to me. I think it's me and Eve, because Eve's a volunteer, but there's not like a committee meeting per se. So we would love if you have any type of finance, or if not, you're just more interested in helping. It's a kind of low commitment. The biggest thing is just reviewing the reports, the monthly reports of the budget and expenses that Joyce does. And, even better if you have the background and you're interested in being the treasurer. We're in a great need for that as an organization. We probably goes without saying, but we are a non-for-profit, like reporting to trustees like myself in New York. So it's a very essential part of our operations, and making sure that we're following our policies and procedures that we've set up for ourselves, so that we stay okay with the state and ourselves too. So if you have any interest, certainly let me know, Grania, or any of the other board members, or if you know Joyce, reach out to her. It's a very important function. Obviously, our core functions would be, sharing the message and PR, and use the website committee and communications. But just as essential as the community has asked us to do certain things in literature, and to be able to ensure that we can continue to pay for the things that our members are asking for, that we need to have a solid financial foundation. So that's what we got going. Again, would love for us to get going here and rebuild here. So if you have any interest, again, let me know. And pass it on at your meetings. Please announce at your meetings.
Thank you, Jen.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for finance? Joey, what do you want to do with the extra time?
Do you want me to give a World Service update, board update?
That sounds great.
Sounds great, Grania.
Okay, great. Thank you. Grania, compulsive eater and chair of the Board of Trustees. Hi, everybody. And as Jen reported, we have lost our treasurer, and so we have asked the nominating committee to recruit a new treasurer. Among the other board members we're trying to recruit, our goal is to have 16 board members. We currently have 9. So if there are people with at least 5 years of abstinence and an interest in ensuring the stability of our organization and protecting the integrity of our program, please talk to Linda. Or Linda, did you rotate off the nominating committee? You did. Okay. Linda was one of the nominating committee members. But Theta is currently the chair, and you can find a form on the website if you want to nominate somebody, including yourself, to be on the board. And or you could email Theta at nominating@greysheet.org. We have, although we've lost our treasurer, we have found Annette in Oregon there on the screen, who has agreed to become our new welcome contact, which is a new position. And it's the person who gets the incoming emails and phone calls from people outside of the fellowship. Although we do get some people inside the fellowship using those mechanisms, but primarily it's newcomers, people looking for information about the program. And we're going to be transitioning that from the board to Annette shortly. So thank you so much, Annette. That will ensure continuity. And we're finalizing, as we discussed with Steve, Mindy, we're finalizing like what it is that position will do, so that everybody can read it and say, yep, that sounds like a good idea. So that's going to be available as well. And we also have added another team member who is our new social media contact. So if you remember, several years ago, the Public Information Committee got a resolution passed that we would use social media to spread the message of the GreySheet solution. And they were going to manage it. And the member that was doing it left GreySheet and they couldn't manage it. So then they proposed that we hire a professional social media manager. And they've tried to find someone, they couldn't find somebody. But that position has sat out there waiting. And all of a sudden, one of our members, who is a professional social media person, has come forward, and we've hired her for the position. And that is the wonderful Patricia E. in Phoenix, Arizona. So she's getting access to our existing accounts and conferring with the board about what we will do. She's going to be proposing that we amend our original plan. Our original plan was to use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as our first three, and can, test them and see if they worked. And the world has moved on, and Twitter is not so useful anymore. And so she's now proposing that we use YouTube and Reddit, which are two places where people go for answers to problems. And so that kind of thing will need to be written up and approved by everybody. And as we've already heard, we have a new website committee chairperson in the beautiful Carolyn from San Francisco Bay Area. And we also have a new Public Information Committee chairperson, Aaron, and I think Aaron is in New Jersey. And so those two long dormant committees are up and running again and figuring out how they're going to help carry the message using the functions of those two committees. The final thing, two final things, we have two surveys that are swirling around out there. We had the World Service Satisfaction Survey, which closed a month or two ago, and Stacy and Barbara are compiling the results, and they'll be reporting the results and the recommendations at the April Town Hall on April 19th, Saturday, April 19th. And then most of the recommendations would involve proposals. So nothing would be implemented anytime soon. It would be all stuff that everybody would have a chance to have an input on. But we never want to have no surveys out there. So we have another survey out there from Linda's committee, the structure committee. And this is from a proposal that was passed in 2020, 2021 about if you want to register your group as a GreySheet group and list your meetings on the GreySheet website, that you committed to using only GreySheet or AA conference approved literature in your meetings. And we've always had a handful of people who have been steadfast in their opposition to that requirement. And so the structure committee has agreed to see what does the fellowship think. And so there's a survey on the homepage of the website, and you can say, I agree with this requirement or I disagree with this requirement. And then the structure committee will take action based on the results of that survey, which closes on April 30th. And I will finally end with, we had a very low number of donations in January, but I'm thrilled to say they tripled in February. So we met our goal. Our monthly budget is that we receive $3,000 in donations each month. And in January, it was $1,300, and in February, it was $3,400. So it's an up and down story, but we seem to be doing okay. Any questions on any of that? Steve?
Yes, thank you, Grania. In terms of the Board of Trustees, are there any areas of expertise or roles or that is, it's almost half the board that you need? You said 16 and you only have 9. Any particular skill sets you're looking for, or is it just bodies, or, like, what is it that is required?
Well, we have the 2 officer positions that are now empty. So treasurer, as Jen so eloquently said, is a vital, critical, can't be emphasized enough role. So we need a treasurer. But because we approved the hiring of a bookkeeper to do all the data entry and report running, the treasurer, it's really important that people understand the treasurer's role is oversight. It's making sure that we're following policies and procedures, proposing changes to policies and procedures, being the public face of finance, coming to meetings like this and reporting, managing our relationship with our tax attorney and with New York State and with IRS, but they won't be putting in data and running reports anymore. So that's the treasurer, and that's a knowledge set, I suppose. And we need an assistant treasurer because we don't ever want to rely on just one person for these critical roles. Joey was our assistant treasurer, but he served 2 full terms on the board. So we need new people. We need a secretary. And again, the secretary's job is to manage the records of the organization. It's not simply recording minutes. We have AI to record the minutes if we want. Now we really need someone to look at our Google folder and say, do we have all the documents we need to have, and are they organized in a way that we can use? And what records should we have, and where are they? So it's record keeping. That's the secretary's job, and we need an assistant secretary. So we need those 4 officer positions. And then the other reason we need 16 members is we'd like to have representation from all of our intergroup areas. We have no one from Iceland. We only have 1 person from Israel, even though Israel is a huge GreySheet community. We only have me from Europe. And we have Jen and Barbara from the Northeast. We have Carla and Stacy from the West, and Maggie from the Southern Central. We have no one from the Latin community, Hispanic community. We have Marvin and Joey from New York. We have no one from Connecticut on the board. So those are the main skills, knowledge, jobs, and representation. Other than that, no, I don't think we need any particular skills, but I could be wrong. Like maybe we should have a website, a person who's familiar with webs and social media or something like that on the board. But it's hard enough to get people to serve on the board without having skill sets they have to have.
Thank you,
Stacy?
Grania.
Sorry, thanks, Steve. Stacy?
I'm thinking also people who work collaboratively, so are good collaborators, people who have good communication skills, and yeah, and then there's the 5-year back-to-back abstinence requirement.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Linda always said that. Every time Linda, when she was on the nominating committee, would talk about board members, that she always would say, the only objective requirement is 5 years of abstinence. That's the only thing that's written in the job description. But you need to be a team player. You need to collaborate. You need to communicate. And that's, yeah, is exactly right, Stacy. Joey, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Grania. And Grania, you said that I'm from New York as a board member. I like what you said. I
You're no
already
longer.
yeah, and Anya is also from Connecticut.
That's right. That's
Yep.
right.
So thank you, Annette, for taking that position, and I hope you still continue being a volunteer in our communications committee. But my question is that for anyone who would like to be interested to is this something that was already established? Do we have like a Gmail address that anyone could present to the meetings, that if you have any questions or anything, just email blank@GreySheet.org or
Questions about what? I'm sorry.
about Annette's role.
Well, I guess it would be me, because Maggie and I have been working on the job description for that. So chair at
it's
GreySheet.org.
chair@GreySheet.org. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah.
Brian.
But our general, the one that Annette's going to have control of is the one that's GreySheet@GreySheet.org. And that's the one that's on the website. And then we have a Google number that is on the website.
Got it. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate the board on finding new people for these committees. They worked hard. Carolyn.
Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to mention again, so we've just restarted the website committee. And if you as you use the website, if you see something that needs to be fixed, something small like a typo, or just today I discovered that the website committee meeting is on the wrong day of the calendar, anything like that, you can email me at website@GreySheet.org. Even if it went from a typo to a big picture thing, just because we really could use input from the members. And just as you're using the website, if you could be mindful of what would make it more useful to you. So, thank you.
Excellent. All right. Any other announcements? Steve.
Yes, the announcement I have is GreySheeters Anonymous upcoming 27th anniversary speaker jam, April. We have a birthday. We are a global fellowship, and we have a birthday, as the document suggests. It's April 7th, 1998. So GreySheeters Anonymous will be 27 years old. And GreySheet Men, Inc. are sponsoring this year's anniversary speaker jam. But one of the proposals that I would like to put out for archives is that anybody can host it. 1 year, that Comunidad Hispania hosted it. It's our birthday, so I have a flyer that I will be sending out to people that I will be talking to Carolyn about having it posted up on the website so that everybody can have the date set aside and join us. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Linda, it's Joey again. So first of all, thank you, Linda, for leading us. And just a heads up, guys, that our communications committee on May 18 would be our next round of the tradition and concepts. We're going to do concepts 5, 6, 7, and 8, and tradition 5, 6, and 7, and 8. And the next committees connecting would be on June 8th. That would be the literature, the public information, and the structure. That's it for me, Linda.
Thank you, Joey. All right, everybody. The 7th tradition states there are no dues or fees for GreySheet membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. The donation information was posted previously. If you go back and look in your chat, there is a text to donate for U.S. residents. Text the letters NMW to 44321, and it's posted again. And then if you want to donate via Zelle, Search for the email address treasurer@greysheet.org. Also, the website has a place, greysheet.org/donate/donate. So thank you very much. And let's see. Save the chat if you guys are interested in contact information. And I think that's everything. We can close with the serenity prayer.
Thank you, Linda.
God grant us the serenity
Serenity
to accept
the things
the
we
things we cannot
cannot
change,
courage
courage
to
to
change
change the things we can,
And
and
the
wisdom
to
to
know
know
the
the
difference.
difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.